Hello. I must have pressed go live without realizing it. Good morning. It is Sarah here. So, slightly different way of doing things, probably for the best for the now anyway. Just good morning if you've just joined me. I have the whole family home, and the Zoom side of things can be quite well. Zoom requires a certain amount of streaming, and everyone's on the internet. So I thought, I know that YouTube works. And actually, my friends, I'm hoping that it's a little bit clearer in picture. So I've realized I can use one camera angle, but your feedback will be really useful just to see how it goes. So you can email me, you can give me a ring if you like. There's also a live chat on the side of the screen. So you can actually sort of type something to me. I can't guarantee I'll see it while we're working or while we're doing the class, but I can look at it, if we have a break, or look at it afterwards. So welcome. This is balance and stability, or balance and strength, as I like to call it. What we'll be needing is our chair. So you know this, you've all done a class with me. What we did do last week is we sort of adapted it. There was just the two of us. And so for those of you that are finding it a real struggle to stay seated or to stay standing at any given time, we can do the whole thing seated, we can do the whole thing standing. So what I'm going to try and do is give you demonstrations of both throughout. So I'm going to do the warm-up seated, I'm going to do a section standing, and then we're going to go back to the chair for our strength and for our flexibility. But if you want to stay standing, that's absolutely fine, because particularly if you find this is sore seated, if you want to come back to the chair immediately, just do a little bit of standing, that's also fine. We're still working the muscles we're looking at. So, should we start? Let's do it. Oh, the other bonus about this is we'll be able to access this class over and over again. So I can show you how to do that. In fact, I will show you how to do that in a little email later. So as you know, my friends, if we want to stay strong, if we want to stay balanced so that we can do everyday activities, if we're going to do a seated warm-up and seated exercise, we are going to see if we can start to think of this chair as an implement of exercise, not as just a chair to sit down in. So we're going to see if we can lift that chest a little bit. So we're going to lengthen the spine rather than roll it. We're just going to lift this chest, and then we're going to lift one sitting bone at a time till we come into that front half of the chair. And then we're going to make sure those feet are underneath the knees. And I know I go on about this, but I always think it's a really good idea just to remind ourselves at the start of each session. So we're then going to see if we can create some space between the base of the ribs and the top of the pelvis, and we're going to relax those shoulders. So if you can do that, standing, it would be exactly the same, slightly soft knees, so knees off lock, nice long spine, feet hip width apart. And I promise you I do that with all my classes. Now, let's see if we can think about just starting to warm the shoulders up. So we're going to bring the shoulders up to the ears. We're going to relax those shoulders down. So I'm just going to squeeze the shoulders up, and I'm going to relax the shoulders down. I'm going to move my chair back a little bit. Let's do a couple more shoulder squeezes. Okay, relax them down. And then we're just going to sit nice and tall. Let those arms relax. We're going to take, I've not moved my chair far enough. We're going to take those little toe taps forward. So we're just going to tap that big, I can't even speak. Tap that big toe onto the floor. That's good. Okay, I'm coming back a little bit more. So that's it. I tested it all out, but I didn't do toe taps. So we're just going to tap that foot forwards, bring it back. And all the while, now you may find you get a bit fatigued and you have to come back in that chair. That's fine. Just see if you can remember to bring yourself back up, and I'll keep reminding you. Now, bring those feet in. Let's see if we can make some circles with those shoulders. So I'm going to come a little bit closer. And what we don't want you to do is to force those shoulders into some sort of massive circle. It's just about warming them up a little bit. So we're going to take a nice breath in, nice breath out. You've got it. You've got it. And then we're going to relax those shoulders down. Good. So let's see if we can just bring these feet just a little bit wider so we're a little bit balanced. You can still feel both sitting bones on the chair. We're going to just gently imagine that you're doing up the top button of your trousers, okay? And you're just gently drawing the tummy button in. We're going to lift the rib cage out of the hips. I hear Sam. And lengthen up. Good. And we're just going to do the same again. So we're just warming up the lower back. And if you think about the spine as just a number of little bones stacked one on top of the other, what we're doing is just getting a little bit of movement in those joints between each bone. So it's not about how far you can go. It's just about what we call mobilizing, getting the joints moving so they're less stiff. Now, we're going to just leave those feet here. We're just going to pick the heels up and we're going to tap them down. I'm going to see if we can do a little tap with these hands, okay? So we're just tapping the heels down. We're lifting them up, tapping them down. Good. We're going to do 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. Now, relax the legs. We're going to see if we can bring these hands underneath the chest and we're going to roll the shoulders back and down. So we've got those nice relaxed shoulders, and then we're going to take a gentle twist one way, keeping those knees facing forwards, gentle twist the other way. So this again is really gentle. So if you think about that spine now, and the section where you've got the ribs attached to it, we're getting those just to move ever so slightly. So there's not a lot of movement, just a little bit, and we're just trying to maintain what we've got there. Good stuff. All right, bring it back to center. We're going to let those hands relax on those thighs. Bring those feet just a little bit closer together, hip width apart. This time, we're going to just pull those toes up and tap them down again. So the heels are on the floor. And I'll just show you from this angle. We're just tapping, drawing the toes up, okay? And we're just taking some little taps with the thighs so there's a bit of rhythm and it doesn't feel so challenging when there's a bit of rhythm. Brilliant, or maybe it does. And let it come down. Good. Now what we're going to do now is a little bit of ankle warm up. We're going to take the heel to the floor. We're going to get a toe and a heel. Toe and a heel. Good. Toe and heel and toe and heel. We're going to do 2 more of these. 1 more toe, 1 more heel, bring it down. Great. I'm going to show you from a different angle with the other foot, just so you're in no doubt about what we're doing. Heel and toe. Now, what I'm trying to do is find the same spot on the carpet. So I'm really making my ankle, you know, really using that ankle, really using the muscles in the calf and the front of that lower leg. Good. And then we'll bring it down. Great stuff, guys. So let's go back to that little shoulder roll, shall we? Now we're going to relax those shoulders down. I'm going to just let you drop your chin down towards your chest. We're going to lift that head, look straight ahead, nice relaxed shoulders. And then we're just going to turn the head. We're going to look this way. And then we're going to come back to center. Now I'm not going to let you look the other way. I'm just going to let you drop that chin down to the chest again. Lift that chin, look straight ahead, and then we're going to just turn that head. We're going to look this way. Lovely. Okay, then we're going to come back to center. We're going to drop that chin down to the chest again. Keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. Lift that head. Now we're going to just gently, gently turn that head and look this way. And we're going to come back to center. Drop that chin again. We're going to lift that head, and then we're going to gently, gently turn that head one way. Good. Come back to center, guys. Okay, so we're going to take a nice little roll of those shoulders. So do you remember what we were doing before? We were just lifting those heels and tapping those hands. So we're going to do that again. Lifting the heels, just getting those calf muscles moving and tapping those hands. We're going to go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Now, let's see if we can take a little W shape here, and we're just going to push one hand away from center, bring it back. One hand away, bring it back. So it's like those chest presses. It's a bit like doing a press up with one hand. So if I show you from this angle, okay, and then we're going to do both hands together. We're going to go 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it in, guys, and take a little roll of those shoulders again. That's just to release tension. So we're going to see now if we can move these feet. We're going to take a tap out and in. So this is as if we were standing up. It's like that diagonal tap, out and in, out and in. And if you feel comfortable, we're going to add a little bicep curl. So we're keeping that really nice, strong trunk. We're going to go 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Beautiful. So let's just roll those shoulders and relax. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to see if we can take that foot. We're going to step out. We're going to bring this foot across. We're going to step across and bring it back. So these are side steps. Now you'll notice these core muscles have to work really hard. Okay, so this is really hard because your body sort of wants to help that movement. So see if you can keep that nice strong core, make them smaller if you need to. We're going to do 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And making these muscles stronger is a really great tool to help improve your balance. It's not just about the legs. So we're going to see now if we can walk this hand over the shoulder. So I'm going to come a little bit closer just so you can see what we're doing. We're just going to give ourselves a nice little pat on the back. Good. And then we're going to release. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to give a nice little pat on the back. Good. So don't worry if this is as far as you can get. It's fine. We're just going to take it to your point of tension, not push into pain, and then we're going to bring it down. We're going to roll those shoulders up to the ears and back. Now, in that seated position, we're going to see if we can just take these legs for a little bit of a walk. So remember that nice upright trunk, a nice long back. We're just lifting one foot and the other off the floor. Notice I'm not really lifting those knees because we're already sort of quite using these hip flexors a lot. So it's just a little lift and back down. Now we can bring those arms in. We're going to bend that elbow and we're just going to just move like this for about 10 seconds. We're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Just come to a little standstill or a sit still, as they say. Right. Okay. Ignore my terrible jokes. We're going to take this heel in front of us. So if I do it at this angle, you can see where we're going. So just by sitting up tall and drawing the toe to the ceiling, you are giving the calf muscle a little stretch out. And then if you keep that long back, hinge at the hips, we get that little stretch down the back of the straight leg. Okay, now bring it all the way up, bring it in. Let's do the same on the other side. So draw that toe up to the ceiling. Okay, now we're not holding this for a long time. We will do it again at the end and we'll hold it a little bit longer. So bring it back up. And then should we go for a little march on the spot again? Let's do. Oh, thank goodness the rain's. It's like April at the moment, don't you think? I went out this morning in sort of galoshes with the dog. And then when I came back, it was bright blue sky and beautiful. Then it was grey and wet. But anyway, I'll stop marching. So we're going to relax there. Now, one last thing I'd like us to do before we go into our main section. We're going to bring these arms around to the back of the chair. So when you do that, relax those shoulders down, draw those shoulder blades together. So if I show you from this angle, you'll see. Now, you can release whenever you feel comfortable, but that's what we're looking at. Sometimes you can lean forwards ever so slightly. We want to open out this chest, and then we're going to release. Take a roll of those shoulders. Lovely. Okay, so we are pretty much warmed up, and we're ready to stand. So I'm going to show you just that little strength movement that's going to help us stand up. So if you need a little relax back here while I just show you where we're going to go with this. We're going to be, but you don't have to do it yet, moving into that front half of the chair. We're going to be bringing those heels just underneath the knees so that we have that biomechanical advantage, okay? If the feet are in front of you, not many people are going to be able to stand up without using their arms. So we're going to practice that little hover, okay? Now, even if you don't come out of the chair, if you try as if you're about to stand up. Even if you don't come out, you can feel these thigh muscles working. Now, if they're working, they will get stronger. And this time next week, you might be able to go a little bit further. It might be this time next month, okay? And eventually, we might be able to increase our strength. So just relax there a moment, sit back in that chair, just move those feet. So the body is the most amazing thing we've got. You can increase strength. You can increase strength in your 90s, in your 100s, but we have to almost demand a little bit more of the muscles than they think they can do. And if we do, being very careful not to over-challenge, they'll go, oh, we need to get stronger. So this is where strength work comes. So these exercises that we do here are great, but if we can, we want to be trying to do something at least once or twice a week more. So we'll talk about that later. Now, what we're going to do is get back into that working position, get ready to stand up. So you might want something in front of you for balance, okay? Particularly if when you stand up, you feel a little bit unsure. Otherwise, we're going to just see if we can bring ourselves all the way up. Now, if you need a little bit of assistance, what you can do is just bring your hand to the front of the chair and just give yourself a little push at the same time. So we're going to say 3, 2, 1. We're going to push into those heels, come up, and the first thing we're going to do is move those feet. So this is to make sure we don't get dizzy. All right? Now, pick which way you're going if there's more than one of you. So if 2 of you move in the same direction, there's that possibility for clash. So should we all go this way if we can? Otherwise, talk to each other. We're going to take as many steps as we feel comfortable. So don't feel you have to take just a few steps. We're going to turn, and then we're going to look for that chair. We're going to move to the back of this chair. And once we get there, if you can, just gently keep those feet moving. If you can't, if you are tired, just wiggle the toes or maybe do that little pedal. Okay, so now we're here. And again, remember those core muscles that are so important for balance. So if you find you're doing this, I'm going to get you to see if you can lift that chest, create that space between the base of the ribs and the top of the pelvis, so that we've got that chair if we need it, but we're not leaning on it too much, okay? So the legs are going to get tired more quickly, but then they'll get stronger and you will be able to do it. All right, let's bring those feet to a standstill. What I am going to do is put this chair to this side, but I'm going to pretend I've got it here, but you need to be able to see my feet. So we're going to start with those little taps out to the side of the chair leg, okay? Chair leg. So we're going to tap and in. Now we're doing it quite slowly. And you know what that means? It's more challenging for balance. So you've got that chair if you need it. Keep that nice gap between the base of the ribs, the top of the pelvis, okay? And we're holding on. Now remember, you can sit down at any time. So I'm going to show you what this looks like sitting down. Exactly the same. Tap and in. Good. Tap and in. All right, so still sitting nice and tall. So everything can be done seated. Now we're going to bring these feet in. We're going to take that little walk on the spot. Now this time I'm going to get you just to lift your feet a little bit higher. You're going to lift those feet a little bit higher as if we were walking through that field of sticky mud. And we're going to do this for about 15 seconds. So we're just pulling that knee up a little bit. What we're doing is we're getting you comfortable standing on one foot. So you can still hold on, You can, if you're feeling quite secure, you could just hold on with one hand. If you're feeling really secure, we can use those arms or just let them hang by the side. We're going to bring it down and just wiggle those toes a little bit. Just move the feet. Now, you might want to hold onto the chair for this one because we're going to take a little tap behind us. Now, this isn't one of my official moves that I've been given to help with balance and stability. So it's not one of everything else is very evidence-based. There's evidence to show that it can help improve balance and prevent falls. But what I do find is that if we've been sitting a while or standing and doing the movements we've got, these muscles here get quite tight. So what I like to do is put in a little bit of a release movement to help with those. Okay, so we're just going to tap behind, bring it in, tap and in. Now we can make that movement really small, or if you prefer, you can just tap out to the side. Okay, we're just going to do a couple more of those. We're going to bring it in. We're going to bring those feet a little bit wider. Now, soften those knees. We're going to take that little wide base sway. In fact, I forgot to do this with you seated. So feet are a little bit wider than normal. We've got that chair. Now we're going to take the weight onto this leg. We're going to take the weight onto this leg. Good. We're going to take the weight onto this leg. We're going to take the weight onto this leg. Now, those of you that feel comfortable letting go, you might decide to bring in a little arm swing. Now, just be careful because I know a couple of us, are working together, and it's amazing how much sort of swing we have. So just be careful of the person next to you. Try and go the same direction, particularly if you're using two arms. So just be aware of those arms in space. We're going to do 4 and 3. Good. And 2 and 1. Lovely. Let's bring it back down. And what I'm going to get you to do is that little pedal that we did. Did we do it earlier? Well, if we didn't, we're doing it now. Just one heel at a time. I had another class earlier and I think we were doing it there, not here. All right then, so we're going to bring those feet down and we're going to go through those 4 movements again, if you're comfortable. So holding onto that chair if you need some support, one hand or two hands. If you're happy that you feel balanced and able to march on the spot, we're going to take that march and then we're going to enter that field of sticky mud and we're just going to lift the knee a little bit higher. Okay, so you'll notice this is hard work. It's not as fast as a walk, but it's actually really working all those muscles. So this is going to help us with everyday movements like walking. Good. So we're going to do 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to bring it down. We're going to take that little pedal. So how's that breathing? The breathing's okay. Carry on. If it's going a little bit fast, just wiggle those toes a little bit and just maybe hang on a bit. Keep the feet moving until you join in the next bit. So what we're going to do now is those little diagonal taps. Good. So we can hold on to the chair with this. Now, if you feel comfortable, we can add a bicep curl. You might think, well, what's the purpose of this bit? We're doing a little bit of aerobic conditioning. So this is repetitive movements designed to really help the heart and lungs work a little bit harder. So if your breathing's coming a little bit faster, that's okay. If you're gasping for air, that's not okay. We're working too hard. So you might need to take the arms out, slow it down. Okay. Now we're going to do a couple more of these. And then we're going to bring those feet in. We're just going to see if we can keep those feet hip width apart. We're going to take those little taps behind us. Good, little taps behind us. Not too hard, not too fast. Good. Now, if we're holding on here, you might be able to take that opposite arm forwards and opposite leg back. Okay, quite an interesting movement here. Great for the back, great for those core muscles. Good. Bring it in. Good. Remember, you don't have to do the arm movement. We can just take those little taps behind us. Bring it in. And then we're going to move those feet. How are we doing? Everyone okay? hoping so. Now, remember at this point, if you're thinking, no, I'm not okay, why not make sure you can feel for that chair, and you can do our wide base sway seated. Just make sure when you're sitting down that you're not booming in. Really control it. Okay, so standing or seated, we're going to take the weight into this leg, take the weight into this leg. So I'm going to show you seated, and then I'm going to go back to standing, okay? Just so you can see that we can do all the exercises seated or standing. Good, so this is our wide base sway. So if we're seated, we're going to carry on here, and you can feel these muscles really having to work hard. They are going to help with our balance. Standing, we've got the legs and the core muscles working hard. And again, this is going to help with our balance. This is going to help us maintain function. We're going to do 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Brilliant. Okay. Bring it down, guys. Bring it down. That means bring down. No more aerobic work. So what we're going to work on next is what we call dynamic, balance. So this is balance on the move. So lots of people think balance is just about sort of standing on one leg, but it's about being able to transfer your weight from one leg to the other, from side to side. So with your chair in front of you, what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you from this angle, is you're going to step into the chair and take the weight into the front leg, and then you're going to come back to that start position. So we're going to switch, if you can, to alternate legs. So I'm going to turn to face you. Imagine my chair is here. All right. Oh, before we start that, does anyone want to have a little drink or a sip of water? I should have given you a little bit of recovery from the end of the aerobic. So if you want a quick sip of anything, you do that. And we'll just gently wiggle your toes, keep the feet moving. And then when you're ready, we're going to step into that chair. So when we step into the chair, make sure that front heel is on the floor, and make sure we're not leaning over the chair. So keep that strong trunk, keep that gap between the ribs and the pelvis. And then we're coming back. So we're taking those little steps. So we're taking the weight into that front foot, pushing back. So those of you that have been in class with me face to face, I used to talk about, what happens when you step off a pavement. But if a car was coming really quickly or a bus was coming, you'd have to get back from the road onto the pavement. So this is the sort of move. You're in the supermarket, you're looking for something on the shelf. You're in the house and you're just picking something, coming back. So it's using those legs, that body for balance. We're going to do 2 more of these. Okay. And then we're going to come back to that start position. Just give those toes a little wiggle, give those feet a little shake. Now, we're going to mix up the dynamic with some static balance. So what we're going to try and do, I'm laughing because this isn't static at all, but we're going to start with a little bit of balance and strength. So I'm going to get you to hold onto that chair, lift the heels off the floor, hold them there for a couple of seconds, slowly lower down. So should we aim for another 7? Okay. So we're going to lift the heels, hold it there for a couple of seconds, slowly bring it down. Now you'll feel these muscles here really working. Come up. Now, if you feel that you want to challenge your balance once those heels are up, okay, what I'm going to get you to do now is power up, hold it there. Are you able to take one hand away? Are you able to take the other hand away? Bring it back down. So you might think, well, actually, I don't need to hold on with 2 hands. I'm going to power up. I've got one hand there. You might want to take a finger, another finger, a thumb. So that index finger might be the last one to leave, and then bring it down. Good. I've forgotten how many we've done now. Let's do 1 more, shall we? And again, I'm going to challenge my balance. I'm drawing my tummy button in. I'm focusing on this fixed point in the distance. Slowly down. And then we just walk it out. Great stuff. Brilliant. So, proper static balance this time. Let's see if we can hold onto our chair And we're going to see if we can lift one foot off the floor. Now, what tends to happen when we do that is we lean over the supporting leg. So we're going to imagine that we've got a cup of tea on top of our head. We're going to soften the knees ever so slightly. Now I'm going to pick this foot up. So I'm going to imagine I've got my chair there. So I've got it here. And I'm just going to pick this foot off the floor, just a fraction. And then I might find I can maybe let go with one hand. I might not. I might need to bring it back. But we're going to see if we can hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring this foot down. Take that little pedal. Good. So what we don't want to see is, okay. So if you're doing that, I'm going to get you to use a bit more support so that we can train these muscles to hold you tight and then gradually reduce the support. Let's see if we can do the same on the other side, okay? So we're going to focus on that fixed point in the distance. Put that cup of tea on your head, lift that foot off the floor. And we're going to breathe out. And if you feel confident that you can challenge your balance, we might take a hand away. We might take a hand, we might take another finger from that supporting hand, another one. But it's up to you. Just listen to what's going on. Bring that hand back, bring that foot down. Well done. Okay, I hope this is going okay. So if we were going to do these balances seated, I'm just going to show you, we can still do them. So in that front part of the chair, we're still using the core muscles. The difference is you only take that foot a fraction away from the floor. And of course, you don't need to hold on. Okay, so that's how we do those balances seated. Now, whether you're seated or standing, what we're going to try and do next is to bring in a little bit of strength and balance at the same time. So, I'm just, my youngest son has just floated past the door and waved at us. So we're going to take these feet hip width apart and we're going to imagine that we're picking a shopping bag off the floor. So it's got quite big handles, so we don't have to go down too far. So we're going to bend the knees, keep that nice strong back, and I'm just going to pick the bag handles near my knee and I'm going to push up. So I'm going to show you from this angle. I've got one hand on my chair, bending those knees. I've got my heels on the floor. I'm going to straighten my legs and bring that bag up. Okay. So should we try that 2 more times with this hand? So we're going to come, pick that bag up. We're going to straighten those legs, squeeze that bottom in. Good. And we're going to do the same again. Good. So we're picking up that bag and we're going to come up. So the bag doesn't have to be, don't think, oh, the bag would be on the floor. I want you to listen to your body, how far it wants you to go. Let's try it with this hand now. So we're holding on. We've got those heels down, nice long back. We're going to come up, pick up that shopping bag. Good. Now you may feel comfortable taking 2 shopping bags, picking it up. Show you what it looks like. We're going to just take that bag, pick it up. Good. Now remember, those heels are down. We're not picking the shopping bag with the heels off the floor. So we're really using that leg strength, back strength. Good. Excellent. And then we just wiggle those feet. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pick up something from the floor. We're going to put it away. Okay. So what I just want you to practice is just tapping, just tapping, just tapping. Now, if you've had enough, I'm going to get you to sit down and I'm going to show you the alternative once we've started. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to, with this hand, we're going to pick something up. We're going to straighten up. We're going to lift the heels off the floor. We're going to put it away. So we are challenging strength and balance. We're going to bend down, pick it up, lift those heels, put it away. Good. We're going to do 2 more with this hand. We're going to bend. We're going to lift. We're going to put it away. Good. Stop if you need to. Okay. And then we'll just wait for the next one and put it away. Good. Walk it out. How are we doing? So we're going to do it on the other side now. So I'll just take the chair here. I'm going to sort of face you now. So when we're bending down, that chest is lifted. We're not looking at the floor. and we're putting it away. Good. So if that's too high for you, we could put it away in front of you. Okay. So remember, we got those heels on the floor as we pick up. Then we're just lifting those heels up the floor as we put away. Good. Let's do one more, shall we? Take it and we're going to put it away. Bring it back. Let's move the feet. Roll those shoulders, guys. Great work. All right, I think we're ready to sit down. I think we're ready to sit down again. So we've done strength, we've done balance. Oh, one more thing before you sit down. If you've sat down, don't worry, because we will do the stretch seated. If you're still standing up, I'm going to get you to take a foot behind you. Press the heel of this back foot towards the floor, and we're going to stretch out the calf muscles. This is a lovely way to stretch them out. We're going to lift that foot, bring it in, and we'll do the same on the other side. Good. So if that back foot was on a clock face, the big toe would be at 12 and the heel would be at 6. Okay, bring it in. So we want to be really nice and controlled sitting down now. So we're going to see if we can choose to go the same way around the chair. We're going to take as many steps as we can, and we're going to bring ourselves to the front of that chair. Once we're there, we're going to just make sure we can feel that chair on the back of the legs. Just check you're evenly placed. And then we're going to lower ourselves with control. Have a relax. Oh, just stepped on the dog. Sorry, Sam. Have a relax. Oh, it's okay. Good boy. He was fast asleep and his leg was sort of doing that. Now, we are going to, if we've got one, get our resistance bands. For those of you who haven't got a resistance band, I have been allowed to purchase some, but there was a bit of delay in them reaching me. So as soon as I get them, I can send them out to you, which is really good. I don't know how I managed to persuade the tight powers that be, but I did. Now, if you've got a resistance band, great. If you haven't, don't worry, because I'm going to ways on. We're going to start, if we've got the band, we're going to lift that chest, get into that sitting position or that working position. If we haven't got the band, I want you to use this chair back, but really use these tummy muscles. I want you to draw the tummy button away from the spine, and I want you to relax these legs out in front of you. Take your hands onto the thighs. Now, without the band, what we're going to be doing is straightening each leg 10 times, slow and controlled. Okay, so this is your thigh strengthening exercise. Squeeze this thigh here and release. Okay, you can start now. If you've got the band, we're going to sit in our working position in that front half of the chair. Now, we're going to see if we can take the foot into the band so it's nice and secure. And we're going to walk the hands down the band till we get a little bit of tension. So then we're going to sit up nice and tall. And we're going to make sure these heels are underneath the knees. We're going to lift the heel or lift the foot with the band around it off the floor. Then we're going to secure these hands just onto the top of the thigh. Now, what we're going to do is push against the resistance of that band, and we're going to control that knee back to center, if that makes sense, back to the start position. We are going to do 10 of these, straightening that leg. And when that knee comes back, we want to make sure the knee is bending in line with that big toe, okay? So we're pushing against the resistance of the band, lengthening that leg without locking out that knee. So we're going to do 10 on this leg. We're going to breathe out as well. Try not to hold your breath. That's brilliant, guys. We're going to breathe out. Sitting nice and tall. Good. And again, let's see if we can do 2 more. So this is the exercise with the band. You know what you're doing without the band. Almost exactly the same, but we've just got resistance with this one. Now we're going to hold that straight leg for a few seconds. We're going to bend the knee. We're going to hold it there, and then we're going to take some little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Whoo! So you can feel that, can't you, in the thighs? So what we talked about earlier about building strength, it's about finding the right amount of challenge. So you may find after these sessions, we might have overdone it a little bit because you're really sore the next day. But what we can do is maybe not work so hard the next week. So finding that base level that we can actually work the muscles without it being detrimental is the key to then progressing. So we don't want to go too hard too soon. We want to find that base level and then gradually add a little bit of challenge. And then you'll find your muscles getting much stronger. So now we're going to lift that foot off the floor, secure those hands, and again, so I'm facing you a different way. If you find the chair cuts into the back of the legs, you might need to move ever so slightly forwards. So we're straightening that leg. Now, can you see what I mean about that knee, that hip, that big toe being in line? What we want is not that sort of thing to happen. Okay, so the knee joint is a hinge joint. So we need it to hinge, not to sort of rotate. Otherwise, it'll tell you about it. Good. So we're just pushing against the resistance of the band, slowly back. Just pushing and slowly back. Good. We're going to push. Keep that nice, strong, long back. Good. Push. Now, should we try one more of these? And then we're going to hold it there. We're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe out. Then we're just going to bend the knee ever so slightly. And we're going to make some little pulsing movements. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to release. Bring that foot down. Super. Whew, well done, legs. What I might get you to do is just give them a little wiggle. And give them a little shake. Okay, just get that blood flowing through them a little bit. Okay, even if it's a little tap out, because they've worked pretty hard this last 20 minutes. All right, so good work. Even if you think they haven't, I can promise you they have. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to see if I can get you, if you've got your band, just to wrap it around your thighs, hopefully as flat as possible, and you're just going to hold it securely here. So if you're doing this, bring the feet together, bring the knees together, and we're just going to hold it there. Okay. Now, if you haven't got the band, what I'm going to get you to do is bring those feet together anyway. And what we're going to do is a little bit of work on these hip muscles to make them nice and strong. And they're going to make the knee joint nice and strong. So if the band is there, we've got a bit of resistance. If it's not, we have them. All we're going to do is walk the heels out, bring the knees, bring the feet apart, bring the knees apart, and we're going to see if we can just open and control it shut. So we're keeping the feet flat on the floor, and we're just going to push against the resistance of the band. If you want to work a bit harder, we can take the feet a bit wider, and we're just pushing those knees outwards. So without the band, again, from this position, we're just going to do something slightly different. We're going to step out and in. Good. Really nice and controlled. So it's almost like a hinge movement with this knee, and you'll feel these hips having to work a little bit. Okay. So we're just gently moving that knee out. We're just going to do 1 or 2 more because this is quite an unusual movement. Don't want you to be sore tomorrow. We're going to bring it in, and then we're going to relax. Okay. So we're going to relax by just lifting the chest over that knee. So imagine you've got a beach ball on your knees, and we're just stretching out that lower back a little bit. Now, what I'm going to get us to do, you can just let that band go for now, is take the hands onto the knees, draw that tummy button away from the waistband of the trousers. So we're going to sit up. You can use those hands to help you if you like. So I'm going to show you from this angle because the dog was in the way. So we're going to draw the tummy button in. We're just going to lift that chest over the thighs, and then we're going to lift that chest nice and tall. So what we're doing as we sit up, we're working the lower back muscles. And if these are strong, we can sit up tall. We can stand in the kitchen, or when we're out and about for longer. We can walk for longer without that lower back hurting. So we're just sitting up nice and tall. Now, if we want to make this a little bit more challenging, we take our feet into the band. As we come forward, we walk the hands down that band, and we Do exactly the same movement, but we have to work against the resistance of the band. Notice we're not pulling with those arms. We're just using the resistance of the band. We're working that lower back. Good. Last one. We're going to sit nice and tall, and then we're just going to release that resistance. Take those feet away from the band and bring it back. Lovely. How's everyone? Are we okay? Are we okay? Oh, excuse me for the shouting from my household. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to stretch out these lower legs and we're going to do a little bit of upper body workout. So let's take one foot in front of us. Okay, I'm just turning so you can see what we're doing. We're going to draw that toe up towards the ceiling. We're going to sit nice and tall, and then we're going to lift that chest towards the straight leg. Now you'll feel that stretch in the back of the leg. We're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out. And we're going to breathe in, and then we're going to come all the way back up. So our stretches can feel really unpleasant. They can feel really challenging, but they shouldn't be painful. So if they're painful, we might be pushing too far. So if you feel that, just take it to that point of tension and release and just hold it there. You might need to come back a little bit if it's painful. Good, so now we're stretching the backs of these legs. We're going to breathe out, we're going to breathe in, and then we're going to come all the way back. Okay, let's bring it back. We're going to take a little roll of these shoulders. If you need to relax back now, we've only got a couple of upper body strength exercises, again, that are nice and functional. Again, I'm going to use the resistance band, but if you've got something like a tin or something similar, we can use that. So I'm going to grab my tin just in case. And what I'm going to do is show you both ways of doing it. So we're going to be in our working position. Now, we are going to just drape one end of the band on that floor, and we're going to place our feet on top to secure it. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide this hand. Okay, so if the thumb is facing up to the ceiling, we're going to slide the hand down, and then we're going to grip that band. Now we're going to sit tall, bring this elbow in, and we're going to do some bicep strength. So we're going to basically bend at the elbow, bring the wrist towards the shoulder. We're not lifting that arm out. The elbow's tucked in, and we're going to do 10 of these, nice and controlled. Just want to show you that grip again. So with that thumb pointing up, we're sliding the hand down. So it's a little bit like holding a pint, okay? 10 on that arm. If we haven't got the band, we are going to get our little tin of beans, and we are going to do this instead. So we're keeping that elbow in, we're going to hold that tin, and we're going to just squeeze that wrist up towards the shoulder. Let me show you from this angle. Squeeze. And if you're not comfortable using any resistance, we're just going to use that hand, okay? Slow and controlled down. So we've done 10 on this arm. Whatever your poison, whatever your choice of resistance, we're going to relax, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So if we're doing the band, this time we lay that band. Good. Secure it with those feet. We're going to slide that hand down the band, sit nice and tall, and we're just going to squeeze and release. So really interesting. The jury's out on bicep curls as to how useful they are. But what I realized recently, I was having to unpack a load of boxes and store them, pick up shopping. I was thinking these biceps work really hard, and if you lose strength in them, then it's really not helpful. So I decided we were going to bring them into this session, okay? So if you're thinking, I can only do a couple of those, see if you can slide your hand up the band a little bit, just release some of that resistance. And then we're going to do 10 on this side, nice and controlled, making sure we're breathing out. Good. Okay, excellent. Now, what we're going to do now, my friends, is I'm going to get you to change the grip. So this time we're going to take the palm It's facing down to the floor, and we're going to push it down and hold onto the band that way. Now I'm going to show you from this angle. It's a bit of a weird one, but we're going to work the back of the arms and the shoulders. So now we're going to draw that arm behind us, or just push it backwards. So we're working. You can come in. You can come in. So we're just pushing this arm behind you, working the triceps. So if we've got the tins, we're going to do exactly the same. Palm facing you, we're pushing that tin behind you. So we're going to do 10 on that arm, okay? Joe, we're just going to roll those shoulders. I have a young man who wants to ask me a question. I'm watching. Do you know why I'm having my haircut? 2 o'clock. Okay. Now, when we've done our tricep work on that arm, we're just going to release. We're going to roll our shoulders, and then we're going to do the same on the other arm. So I worked this arm last time. So I'm going to show you from this angle. So I'm going to take the feet onto the band. I'm going to just turn my palm downwards, and almost, if you've got that little gap between your thumb, hold onto the band there, and we're going to draw that arm behind you. So we can do this with the tin, we can do this with no resistance, or we can just relax and have a little look and see what we're doing. So don't be tempted. Remember what we talked about, overdoing it. Don't be tempted to strain and really just take it to your point of tension. Bring it back. So these are the muscles that you need to get out of the chair. Okay, these are the muscles that will help support you as you're pushing up from anything. So really useful to keep them nice and strong. Should we see if we got one more? One more, good. And then we'll release. Okay, you can take your foot off the band. You can put that band and that tin somewhere safe so it's not going to trip you up. And I'm going to get you just to take a nice little roll of those shoulders. Well done, everyone. We are finished. I do want to make sure we stretch out those muscles we've just been working. Otherwise, you're going to be cross with me. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to take a nice little free movement. Nice little free movement. Good. Sorry about that interruption. It's my son. The kids are all home now. The schools are all shut. And he wanted to know what time his haircut is. He can barely see. So we're just going to draw that shoulder. Good. And then we're going to really shake it out a bit. We're going to take this hand here and we're going to draw that across. So this is a really nice stretch for the back of the shoulders. And we're going to shake it out, shake it out. So you might want to just gently let this ear, really not a long way, fall towards the shoulder, bring it back up. So this is a nice way of just releasing any tension, but we need to be really nice and easy with it, really nice and easy. Good. And we'll just do that this side. Excellent. Now, we're going to bring it up, we're going to squeeze the shoulders up, and we're going to relax them down. This time, we're going to take this hand onto the shoulder, we're going to walk that hand over the shoulder. Remember that stretch we did originally. So again, we're in that working position. Once that hand and that arm is in position, we're going to use this arm to support it and gently push that elbow to the ceiling. Let's see if we can breathe out. And then I'm going to see if we can relax this arm, hold onto our chair. We're going to reach up to the ceiling, draw that tummy button away from the waistband of the trousers, and gently lift that rib cage. So we're getting a lovely stretch of those muscles in the trunk. Bring it down, roll those shoulders. Good. All right, let's do the same on the other side. So we only go into your point of tension. We're going to keep the chest lifted. We're going to look straight ahead. Once we're in that position, we're going to support this stretch. You can even add a little bit of pressure. We're going to breathe out. And then we're going to breathe in. We're going to relax this arm. We're going to lift that rib cage gently, gently. Feel that nice little stretch all the way down this side. And then we're going to come back. We're going to release. Roll those shoulders. And then we're going to drop that chin down towards the chest. And then we're going to just gently lift this head. Now this time, as if you are hugging something, we're going to bring these hands together. So once we've dropped that chin to the chest, we're just going to push those hands away from the chest. So we're going to drop that chin down, gently push those hands away from the chest. So we're getting a nice little stretch of that upper back. We're going to bring it in, lift that head. Good. And then just shake those arms a little bit. And then we'll finish off by bringing those hands behind you. If you can, holding onto the back of the chair like we did in the first session, or in the warm-up, not the first session. We're going to look straight ahead, keep that chin parallel to the floor. And just breathing out, drawing those shoulders away from the ears. We're going to release. Good stuff. And you can finally sit back in that chair. So I did promise myself, I'm always a bit over enthusiastic. I did promise myself I'd finish you in about 50 minutes, but it's more like an hour. You've done an amazing job. That was quite a full-on session, but we've got a bit of everything in there. So there's a bit of work to help you improve your stamina. So your breathing will improve when you're doing difficult things. There's some balance, there's some core work, there's some muscle strengthening. And of course, we've got those joints moving. So well done. Now, what we're going to do is just finish off with a nice breath out. So I'm going to get you just to breathe out. And you can stay relaxed in that chair for this. And then you're going to breathe in. Now, as you breathe out, we're going to see if you can push that breath out through the mouth. And you're going to breathe out for 3. And then it doesn't matter how long it takes you to breathe in, but we're going to see if we can take that 1, 2, 3. And one more time. 1, 2, 3. And then you're done. Brilliant. So Sam says, well done. He just that was great. I hope this session was okay for you, my friends. I really enjoyed. I can actually see you. So in my head, I know exactly where you are and what you're doing. And thank you for bearing with me. It definitely works better for me at these slightly busier times. Thank you for joining me. Any problems, get in touch. What I would like to give you is maybe a little 5-minute routine that you could do in the mornings, or, you know, at any time in the day if you're feeling a bit stiff and if you want to move and it's raining outside. If you're up for that, I'll probably do it anyway and send it through, or send you the link. And it's something that you can just do to start building your sort of daily, even if it's not every day, your stamina for day to day. Now, I'm going to wave goodbye and probably have to cook lunch, for the multitudes. I can see there the hungry faces coming through. Thank you very much for being with me. Take care. How could you, your youngest child? They're still going.